Hello and welcome to the channel. In this whole series, we will discuss about various topics related to science and technology for the month of May 2020. So please concentrate on the different topics about the science and technological developments for the month, and there will be subsequent uploads for the various type of developments regarding the science and technology. So let's begin. So the first topic, where the SpaceX becomes the first private space company to send the astronauts to the space. The astronauts' names were Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken, and they were sent to ISS. ISS stands for the International Space Station. And in this mission, SpaceX have used Falcon 9 rocket and the Crew Dragon spacecraft. And also with this mission, spacecraft became the first private company that to return the rockets back to the Earth. So far, the companies or the spacecrafts, once they were used, they were not returned. That is, they are totally destroyed, or they are totally accumulating into the space, creating a problem of space debris. But this mission, the rockets will be back to the Earth. That is why it is a reusable rocket. So it will significantly bring the space pollution problem to check. Now let's see the SpaceX company. Now this is the company which designs, manufactures, launches the advanced rockets and the spacecraft. The rockets of this company are Falcon 9, which is used in this mission, and another one which is Falcon Heavy, which is said to be the most powerful rocket in the world. And the spacecrafts that they are having is Crew Dragon spacecraft and a Cargo Dragon spacecraft that we will see later. And this is founded by billionaire entrepreneur Mr. Elon Musk, who is also heading the Tesla Motors. The Tesla Motors that develop new age vehicles. And the SpaceX headquarters is located in Hawthorne, California, US. Next, we will see the Crew Dragon spacecraft. The Crew Dragon spacecraft is a program under the program of Dragon 2. Previously, they were having the Dragon spacecraft. These Dragon spacecraft were used in previous launches to carry the payloads, that is the supplies, to the ISS. But now this Dragon 2 program, they are having two variants. One is the Crew Dragon, which will carry the humans, and the Cargo Dragon, through which the cargo will be shipped. And this Crew Dragon spacecraft is capable of carrying 7 passengers. Now in this picture, this is the Falcon 9 rocket, and this is the SpaceX capsule, or the spacecraft is situated in the front as a payload. Now this is, you can see the small capsule in which the astronauts are being carried, and this is the Dragon of SpaceX, and this is CST-100 from Boeing, and this is Orion from NASA. This is Soyuz from Russia. This is Shenzhou from China. So all these are the different spacecrafts that were used. These are the spacecrafts. Next. Now let's learn about International Space Station. International Space Station is the largest. In this picture you can see, and this is the largest structure. This is the largest structure which is made by the human and put into the space. And this is having some modules or modular structure, modular space station, as you can see. And these modules are having their specific qualities or specific tasks. And these are the solar panels. They can take the solar charge or solar energy from there to charge their batteries. And this ISS is located into the low Earth orbit, or LEO, at around 2000 km of altitude, where the ISS will maintain an average altitude of 400 kilometers from the Earth. Now here ISS serves as a microgravity. Microgravity is a situation of wetlessness or wet, almost it will feel wetless but not exactly the absence of gravity. Now it's a condition in which people and objects appear to be weightless and things are seeming to be floating like astronauts and objects. Now this ISS is performing the various environmental and space or research related, there it is having some laboratory inside it in which various experiments on biology, human biology, physics, astronomy, meteorology and other fields are carried on. Now this is a joint project between some famous space agencies: NASA, Roscosmos from Russia, JAXA from Japan, ESA from European countries, CSA from Canada. Okay, next the mission plan. In mission plan, simply the astronauts got on board to the Crew Dragon spacecraft and they were on a 19-hour voyage. On 30th May 2000, this Falcon rocket with Crew Dragon blasted off from the Florida, and there the Kennedy Space Center is there. Kennedy Space Center, from which it is took off. First is the first stage separated. I'll show you in a picture. Here you can see this is the rocket along with the first stage, intermediate stages, and this is the Dragon module. So first is the launch here, launch. After that, first stage is separated and it is slowly getting back to the Earth with the help of some particular maneuvers, and after that second stage carries the Dragon module to the orbit. After the second stage put the Crew Dragon into the orbit, it is separated and this Crew Dragon will then dock with the ISS. And this is the returning mission in which it will first detach from the ISS, then the lower part, that is the trunk, got separated, and after that it will deorbit from the ISS, and after deorbiting it will slowly coming to the Earth's atmosphere and reaching somewhere around 1600 degrees Celsius of temperature, and after that the parachutes will deploy once it enters to the nearer to the surface of the Earth, and then it will strike onto the sea near the coast of Florida, from where it will be rescued. Next, some interesting facts. This is the helmets of the astronauts were made by 3D printing technology, and the suits that were worn by the astronauts, they are called the Starman suits, and these suits are fitted with touchscreen compatible gloves. And the Crew Dragon module, which is the spacecraft, that is not having any private space, and so it's a very constricted space just for the astronauts to sit and go to the finish their mission. And this particular spacecraft is reusable for up to 10 missions. Next is the significance of the mission. Now, what is the significance? Significance is it will simply end the decade-long experiment of NASA and the US government and the government of USA about enabling the private players into the market to build and operate space missions. And this will end the reliance of NASA on Russian space rockets. So far, NASA or US is depending on Russian-made Soyuz capsules, through which the astronauts are being sent to the ISS. But from now on, it will end the reliance on the Russian space rockets. Now, involving private companies will significantly bring down the cost by promoting the competitions, and by this NASA will get more time to concentrate on the important objectives. Important objectives are deep space explorations, deep space missions or explorations, and mission to moon mission of 2024. This is named as Artemis mission, in which they are trying to take humans to the moon again. Now next is the Mars mission by 2030. So these are the some very important missions that NASA wants to concentrate, leaving this ISS missions to the private players. So what are the Indian challenges faced by India? Let's see what are the challenges faced by India. So not many private players are there in Indian market like USA. So in USA there are many market players like the SpaceX, Amazon is also there, and in Indian market very few. Team Indus is one of them, Sofian is one of them, but these companies, they are only just collaborating with ISRO in developing, building and fabricating the parts of the satellites or the rockets, not much of it. The rockets and launch vehicles are still a monopoly of ISRO. Yes, it is a monopoly of ISRO, where the in private players, they are not actively engaging, because from government there is no such policy, policy framework is there. So a policy framework is required to enable the private participation in this sector. It is in dire need right now. Now small satellite markets like CubeSat and NanoSats, they are developing globally. As we can see, the Chinese, startups from China, also Amazon's Blue Origin, you may be hearing this, Amazon's Blue Origin, and also SpaceX, they are actively development of the small scale market. And the newly formed commercial enterprise of NSIL, which is in New Space India Limited, it is an initiative of the Department of Space to engage the private sector by transferring some technology to the private sector of ISRO. So this is one of the challenges that NSIL has to face. They have to engage the private sectors into the market, so that they invest into the private sector, into the space market. And the recent announcement of Self-Reliant India or Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, in which the government try to the entails the role of private sector, and possibly with a greater goal of greater investment, technology development, acquisition and capacity building in the space exploration and the planetary exploration. So these are the challenges that India is facing. So the next topic, second topic, it is all about Antarctic Impulsive Transient Antenna, or in short ANITA. Okay, NASA researchers have found out that high energy particles erupting from the ice in the Antarctic region, and the researchers believe that these particles are a proof of some parallel universe. And the researchers have used the NASA's ANITA have found this. The new discovery is a part of NASA's ANITA and the Ice Cube experiment, which are taking place in the Antarctic region. Now, in this, ANITA has detected an anomaly. So, what is the difference in this particular development? That ANITA has detected an anomaly. The anomaly is something which is different from the convention. It has found the particles have been detected traveling from bottom to top. Now, instead of high energy particles, which suppose this is our Earth, and this is the space, and generally out from outer space the cosmic rays are coming into the Earth, and the instruments in the Earth, they detect these cosmic rays. But ANITA has found that some high energy particles that are coming from inside the ice of the Antarctica. So, instead of high energy particles streaming from space, they seem to have come from Earth's interior before hitting the detectors of ANITA. Usually the high energy particles move from top to bottom, but in this case, however, ANITA has detected an anomaly, and this anomaly is that particles have been detected traveling bottom to top, like this. So, ANITA has made detection 4 major cosmic ray detections so far, out of which 2 of the detections have proofs. 2 of the detections, they have proofs that it is coming from bottom or below the ice or ice sheet of Antarctic. So, this is quite a remarkable discovery of ANITA. Next, so what is basically ANITA is? It is a radio antenna. Basically, ANITA is an instrument of radio telescope. Just focus on the word radio here. I will explain it why it is a radio. To detect the ultra high energy cosmic ray neutrinos. This neutrinos is also special. This is the nothing but the cosmic high energy cosmic particles. Neutrinos are part of these, and the antennas are attached to a balloon flying over the Antarctic. As you can see in this picture, this is a giant helium balloon, and in which the ANITA radio telescope has been attached, and it will fly over the Antarctic region, and it will detect the particles behavior by using the ASKARYAN effect or ASKARYAN radiation. We will discuss it in the next slide. So, ANITA instrument consists of an array of sensitive radio antennas. Again, radio antennas. Focus the word the radio here. It involves an array of radio antennas attached to a helium balloon, as it is here, which flies over the Antarctic ice sheet. So far, 4 ANITA missions were launched, first in 2006-07 and next the last one ANITA 4 in 2016. So, these are basically missions which are carried on into the Antarctic region. Okay. Next, we will see the ASKARYAN effect. Now, what is ASKARYAN effect? Simply see this picture here. This is the balloon, and in here there is a ANITA telescope or ANITA radio telescope is there. Now, it generally detects the various behavior of the particles. It consists of sensitive radio antennas. Now, the ASKARYAN effect is nothing but a phenomenon whereby a particle which is traveling faster than the phase velocity of light, the phase velocity, in a dense dielectric medium such as salt or ice. In this case it is ice, because in Antarctica ice is there. So when the particles will move through ice, this dielectric medium ice, there is some effect. What is the effect? It produces a shower of secondary charged particles and it will emit radiation in the radio and microwave part of EM spectrum. EM stands for electromagnetic spectrum. So in simple words, it is nothing when the, let's say in this picture it is a ice sheet, okay, and there are some particles which are traveling through this ice sheet like this, and when these particles are traveling at a speed of faster than the speed of phase velocity of light, that is the phase velocity of light in this ice medium, then it will strike with the ice molecules or other molecules present in the this medium of ice sheet, and when these happens, it will simply produces a shower of secondary charged particle, as you can see in this picture here. This is the shower, and in this shower, in the radio frequency or the radio and microwave part of the electromagnetic spectrum, these shower is detected, and this particular detection is called the ASKARYAN effect or ASKARYAN radiation. As you can see, this balloon is holding the ANITA radio telescope. Some part of the shower is seen here, but this can be from reflection. Also this there is a reflection in this part. This is reflected reflected shower which is detected. But the special thing about this news is that it has detected some shower inside the ice sheet. That is, you can see ASKARYAN emission here in this, also in this you can see here. So these two detections, one here and here, they have detected that some part of the emissions are coming from inside the earth. So this is special, and this effect is proposed by Georgen ASKARYAN, a Soviet physicist who postulated it in 1962, but he never experimented it. Later in the experiments it is proved. Next, just some few facts about neutrino. What are the neutrinos basically? Neutrinos are high energy particles. These are high energy particles, and they are coming from the outer space basically, and they are having energy at around 1018 eV or electron volt. These are capable of passing through most solid objects without anyone even noticing it, but it poses no threat to the human. Okay, and it is produced from the fusion reaction of the sun and the supernova, and the interaction between air and the cosmic rays, and the fission reaction which is going on inside the nuclear reactors. So fusion from the supernova and interaction between air and cosmic rays and the fission reaction, and these are capable of passing through most of the solid subjects. In fact, in most of the time, many millions of neutrinos are just passing through all of our body, and we never notice. It is actually constantly Earth is constantly bombarded with these millions and millions of neutrinos from the outer space, but these are not harmful for us, and these produce a shower of secondary particles whenever they smash into an atom, and this is what is detected by the ANITA telescope. but they rarely interact with the matter. This is all about neutrino. So the next topic is about Arktika-M Satellite. Arktika means something about the polar regions. So Russia to launch its first Arktika-M satellite for the monitoring of Arctic climate. So Arktika series, this is the first satellite of the Arktika series, and it is called the Arktika-M Satellite, and it will be launched by the end of the year, that is by December 2020 it may be launched. And this is the second Arktika satellite is under development, and it will be launched by 2023. So there are totally 4 subsystems around about this Arktika satellite system. First is the Arktika-M, then is the MS-1, MS-2, and at last is Arktika-R. So basically the the objective of the Arktika-M satellite will be meteorological data collection from the polar regions. Now what is the meteorological data it is referring here? It is referring to various parameters of the climates, such as the temperature, the pressure, the humidity, the cloud cover. These are the meteorological data which it will collect about the polar regions. Now majority of the satellites, Arktika satellites, will be launched by the Soyuz 21B rockets into the highly elliptical orbits, which is called the Molniya orbits. I want you to focus on this Molniya orbits. I will discuss it in the next slide. And this is having some advantage. What is the advantage? Now this orbit is particularly putting the satellite into the most the orbital path of the satellites will be in view of the northern hemisphere. So it is a highly elliptical orbit, and the path of the orbit is such that the maximum time, most of the time, the satellite will be focusing onto the northern hemisphere, that is in the Siberian region or the polar regions. So it has a long dwell time over the northern hemisphere. Dwell time means it will be staying a long time over the northern hemisphere. So as it is a 4 satellite system, M, MS-1, MS-2 and R, some of the satellite will always be present over the northern hemisphere to monitor the conditions. I will show you the actual scenario in the next slide. So at least one of the satellites would always be present above the horizon to provide communications, meteorological data collection and other services over the Arctic. So it is having this particular satellite, the orbit, and the Molniya orbit will be having an apogee. What is an apogee? I will discuss. So it's the highest point or the farthest point. It will be orbiting around 40,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface. That is, the apogee is around 40,000 kilometers, and the perigee just the opposite of apogee, which is the perigee is the nearest point, and it is just 1000 kilometers. So this is the Arktika-M. Now I was discussing about this. You can see this is the Earth, and this is nothing but the Molniya orbit. This is the Molniya orbit. As you can see, these are highly eccentric and the highly elliptical orbits. As you can see, this is the polar region. As you can see, these dots, these are the different positions of the satellites. As you can see, most of the time the satellites will be focusing their attention to the northern hemisphere. So this is the advantage, and the equipments will be placed here, that is the receivers will be placed here. To the receivers, the receivers and transmitters will be placed somewhere around here in Russia and Siberian region, and the satellites will gather the data and transmit to the receiving stations. And this is one orbit. There will be several other orbits. There will be several such orbits like this, or some orbit will be like this, or some orbit will be also like this. So there will be M satellite, there will be MS1 satellite, there will be MS2 satellite, and at last R satellite. As you can see, when these M satellite will be at this position here, maybe this MS2 satellite will be present here, and this will monitor, and also the R satellite will be here. So as you can see from this picture, some of the satellites will always be monitoring the northern hemisphere. And what is the importance of Arktika? The polar ice is depleting faster, as we know that global warming is taking place at a faster rate. So polar ice caps are melting at a faster rate, and the permafrosts are melting in the Siberian region. As you may be knowing, the permafrost is nothing but the vegetation which are under the thick ice cover in the Arctic region, and as the permafrosts are melting, it will release a huge amount of methane, and this methane is having huge amount of global warming potential. So the polar region, so it will be contributing to the global warming. Next, the polar region reflects the incoming solar radiation much, which is called the albedo effect, because of the ice sheets, and this will lead to again ocean warming and ocean acidification, and these are having the cascading effects onto the global weather phenomenon. So simply, Siberia is holding a huge potential onto the weather of the whole world. So it is very crucial yet hard to reach Arctic region. So the Siberia or Arctic region is having huge potential or huge crucial importance, but it is hard to reach by foot or by due to harsh weather conditions. So it is better to keep an eye through the satellites. Now it can also perform the remote sensing task and monitoring of environmental conditions, and also provide reliable communications, navigation across this inhospitable region. This is one of the major importance of this Arktika-M.